this is my favorite bridge, and this is where I come to do all my bridge stuff, whatever that means. But I've noticed a trend, and that is this padlock phenomenon, where lovers write their initials on a padlock, lock it to a bridge, and then throw the key in to represent eternal love. Which kind of makes you wonder what's going on with these dimwits. But let's not go there. Now, I'm not much of a competitive soul, but...
Look what I found at the hardware store. It's a padlock. Well, part of one. I can't really believe my luck. I was sitting at work looking for parts for something completely different, and then I found that they have these. That's a major headache solved right there. Because I was thinking about doing it in like a PVC pipe or anything, and I don't have a pipe bender. And of course, trying to heat it up and bend it without the proper support, I would probably be just deforming it. And then of course, I was thinking about, well, you can fill it with sand, cap the ends, and then try to keep the shape while you're bending it. But of course, that sand would absorb a lot of the heat, so you would end up putting in way too much heat to the plastic and it would just melt on you. So yeah, I have this one. Brilliant. I can't imagine the padlock being, I mean, it's not like comedically big, but still, this is amazing. Now I just need to find a padlock and measure the ratio between those. Yeah, amazing. And I think I have one of those padlocks laying around here somewhere. Keys, more keys. There we are. Perfect. So here we have it. Whenever someone says padlock, this is the one that pops to mind. So now it's just about scaling. Luckily, this is not the most advanced of padlocks, at least not design-wise. The most intricate details are on the key, which it also needs, but it's not a criteria for it to work, so I'm making it easy for myself. I know, sue me. So yeah, that's the plan. Now it's off to the CAD machine. I fucked up. Because you see, I made the top plate and of course fit beautifully. What I did not do was to measure the distance center to center there, so it doesn't line up. And of course I did measure here and was thinking about redoing the top ones, but I mean, if I even get a 0.5 millimeter off, then I wouldn't get this in, and this one, I mean, it doesn't really flex. But then I had a brilliant idea. I mean, I can still use these because I need some ribs on the inside for rigidity. So what I did is I made new top ones, but they're blank. And of course, you need holes in them to support the ring. But those holes need to go further down than the thickness of the plate. So I made these guides that's going to be on the bottom side. So flip it over to the bottom side, and then you have the two guides. And of course, if I do like this, I slip it on, and then I center these and I glue them in place. That means that when I remove these ones will be exactly where they are, and then I just drill out the hole and use the router to flush trim the edges, and voila! So yeah, it's an easy fix to a dumb mistake. But that's gonna be tomorrow. Now it's time to go to bed. So yeah, good night.
All right. Here we have them. Fresh off the CNC. And these are spacer plates, but we can just as well call them oopsie plates, because of course we did that oopsie. So the plan is, of course, they will fit over here, and as the name suggests, they're only here to be a spacer. And then I need a third plate glued on top like that, like a wooden sandwich. Now they say I should have more fiber, so. And when these are glued together, of course the thingamabob for the padlock will go in here and stop down there, and that is nice. And of course it doesn't need to be as beefy as this, but I mean, the original padlock have a gradient here, or a chamfer. Is that called a chamfer? I don't know. But the fact is, I have to grind down the edges here, and depending on the angle, I still would like to have material below there to actually glue these panels to. And that also got me to think about something cool, because I'm making two of them, and we'll get back to that. But let's say this is the one, and then I just start stacking the parts on top of each other. Like so. And here we have, I have the bottom plates for attaching the keys as well. There. This is the body of the padlock. Alright, it should maybe have had a couple of more plates, but it would actually look cool just being plywood. Yeah, it needs a few more. And then, but that made me think, I mean, if I have enough parts for two, and if I combine them, they almost fit the dimension of one. That means that when I divide them up again, I can take some of the scrap wood from one of these and just make a lot of spacers so that I get double the height for every plate. Now that's gonna give me a very tight rib cage, a very solid one. And that's going to be nice, because they're going to support these plates when I bend them, and they are relatively stiff, so I have to cut a lot of curves here, which means that there won't be much structural rigidity in these ones. But this rib cage will, well, compensate for that. And of course then I don't have to fill it with anything. It's going to feel a bit chunky, weighty, heavy. Yeah. So that's the plan.
So of course these go at the end, and then there's a shitload of spacer plates or rib plates or whatever you want to call them. So here's one top, a spacer plate, and an end. Here is the other top plate, spacer plate, and an end. Now, as you can see, I've still left these holes in because I'm still on the fence if I should have these as guide pins throughout. Now, of course, I haven't made all the pieces with holes that match and line up with this one, and chucking these back into the CNC and re-drilling those holes, well, that's a pain to get accurate. Of course, I could take one of those I already have, screw them together there and use that hole as a guide, but then I have to use my router table, and I ruined that one. So yeah, if someone have a spare motor for one of those, let me know. So that's the plan for now. We're just going to glue this one and this one together and let them sit for a while, a couple of hours, and then I'll come back and yeah, do the rest. Although in the meantime I can actually make the spacer bricks to actually, because that means I can actually glue this up as a body all the way, and that is cool. Then the clue is, of course, if this falls a bit short, then I could add a second layer. I can make more of these, or I can trim the edge of this. Then it's gonna not be in proportion, but I mean, if you really can't compare it to anything, you will never notice. So yeah, let's get to drinking coffee and gluing. Now, just clamp the shit out of it. That should be enough. We got ourselves some polyurethane glue, and this one is already pre-glued. I cut some test curves on this one so it bends nice. So just gonna glue up the 4 side panels, and then they'll have to dry overnight. Well, not overnight, but when they're dry I need to go to bed. So I just need to cut the curves in the rest of these and figure out if I should drill, put screws in, or if I should just use some small nails. Because I still need to patch this with filler and put on, well, several layers of primer and whatnot. So yeah, that's the plan. No reason for procrastinating anymore. Yay. that one. This one on. Put it there. This one's they are so tiny. Have it. Not only one, but two padlocks. Did I get polyurethane on my arm? I'm gonna have to shave that off. That is never coming off. But yeah. Brilliant, and of course I'm just gonna make it worse by doing that, so I'm not. But yeah, I'm pleased. So here we are. I finished the end caps on this side, which leaves only this side open. So the plan is to fill that with polyurethane foam, just to give it extra support. I mean, all the ridges here is more than strong enough, but I mean, it's just one layer of ply on the letters, so although they feel rigid enough at this point once the sides have dried, but I mean, won't hurt, and squirting building foam is kind of fun. Of course, I should spray water in here to help the hardening process, but I mean, who needs that? All right, let's see how it goes. I empty it. Now, of course, this is going to expand. And by how much in this configuration? I can see it expanding already. So, of course, it's going to pop out here and it might go over the edges. I do not want that. I do not want that. So, should I put them sideways? Alright, I'll figure something out. Something out. It's done. I had to spend some time waiting for it to expand because, I mean, this is the last part of the expansion. I removed a lot. So yeah. I think we can say that is good enough. So now I just have to make end panels like this one. And that means that by tomorrow, when that is dried up, we have the complete body, and then it's sanding galore. Sanding, putting filler on, more sanding. And then putting a base coat on, primer, sanding, primer, sanding, color, sanding, color, sanding, color texture, clear coat, matte finish. So yes. This is the prettier one of the two. This is obviously the one I'm going to keep for myself. So I made two lines here. And let's just start working. Everything is trimmed off. Just need to finish the grading on this one, and then there's the grading on that one. And then the goal for tonight is to there are some seams I need to put filler into. Then that can dry for tomorrow. Then I'll give it a quick sand. And then I'm gonna put primer on. Some would say it's way too easy, but the primer will saturate the wood. So when you put even more putty on or filler to compensate for dents and so on, it won't dry out too quickly and crack because the wood is soaking up the moisture too fast. And I've realized that putting primer on gives you a smooth surface, and it's easier to spot discrepancies, because here, I mean, there's a lot of things going on and you can feel it with your hand, but it's really hard to see it because it's not a good contrast for the shadows and so on. So yeah, that's the plan. I think we're about, well, this grading is as good as I think I want it, basically. So yeah, that's the plan. one can. Hoping it's gonna last longer, but sometimes taking an executive decision is a really good thing. I mean, if you're stuck or if you're in an uncomfortable place, then just making a decision will lift the weight off of you. And when it comes to these ones, I have realized that I don't have a full paint booth. I'm no car detailer, car painter, whatever it's called. So yeah. So I can keep throwing money at these, putting filler on, primer on, and paint. And of course I know the theory, but I will never get this to 100. I would be lucky if I got it to 85. And it is at 70 now. So I'm thinking, let's just paint them and get it over with. I mean, the original Padlock is a bit rough surfaced anyway, so I mean, it is what it is. So yeah, let's get some paint. Being an audiophile at some point has its benefits, because now I have these very nice pointy bits for painting. So yeah, last 2 cans, and however it looks like at that point, that's how they're gonna look like. So let's prop them up. Yeah, time to paint. That was it. We're done. And they just have to dry, and then I have to figure out how to polish the 180 degrees metal thingamabobs that go on top. And yeah, then we're done. Nice.
But when I do stuff, I like to go big, and guess love is no different. Oh, this is so dumb. But yeah, let's get this puppy up here before too many people are going home for lunch. It's Friday after all.
Should be enough.
So there we are.
And of course, the finishing touch.